Okay. Let's keep going with Witch Hat Atelier episode 7, the fun episode where nothing bad happens. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's a fun, chill, enjoyable episode with no problems. Everyone just has a cozy time having a picnic in the rain, and nothing bad happens. If you haven't been along to one of these recording sessions before, well, most likely you have been and you've heard this spiel before, but just in case, I am not going to show you the Witch Hat Atelier anime on screen for the most part because of, not allowed to do that. So you're going to have it on your own screen, and you're going to have to stay in sync with me by following some simple instructions. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, go, and then we go at the same time, and then I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, pause, and then we pause at the same time whenever I need to yap extensively about some animation detail that's making me cream my pants today. It happens fairly frequently, so you might want to get used to it. That's the way it works. If this is very inconvenient to you, yeah, it is. I'm lazy and I don't want to do more work than I have to, so I'm just shoving that off onto you. But if you want something that's more convenient, come join the Discord, where you can watch these reactions be recorded live. That's a lot easier and more convenient. Or else, you can become a member of the channel for about $1 a month, and then you can get access to the more convenient versions of these reactions that are easier to watch and less troublesome. That is available if you want it. And if you don't want it, that's also fine. We can just do it like this. 3, 2, 1, go. The window way. Such God, what a heavy accent. I love it. I do love myself a heavy northern accent. Through one's own experience. Foreshadowing is a literary device in which yeah. So like we've been talking about Agott previously, right? Like but Kiefer just kind of lays it out here that her whole thing is she's racing to grow up and she doesn't take any joy from her achievements, right? She cannot see what she has achieved. She can only see what she hasn't achieved yet. The poor girl. And again, that's a big part of why her relationship with Coco is the way that it is. I mean, Manger, the problem is that Agott has learned that lesson. She's just learned it the wrong way around. She has learned that it is not okay to make mistakes, as we shall see. dad number 2 coming in with a important lesson for her. Don't you? Not an easy lesson to learn, mind you. Three, two, one, pause. It really is Orugio trying to be the other dad here, right? Like, he's being the other dad. He's teaching her an important lesson. Take a moment to reconsider what magic is for. Again, this is that theme we've been coming back to, right? What is magic for? What is the purpose of these skills? What's the point of learning them? Coco, again, representing this idea that it's for making the world better, right? It's for bringing out someone's soul and realizing dreams and making people happy, right? That's what magic is for, right? Like, that's, at least that's one part of it. But what is magic for Agott? What is it for? Why is she practicing it? Why is she trying to learn it? Well, that's why. That's why. There's someone I need to prove myself to. I need to prove that I'm a worthy witch. I need to prove that I'm good enough. I need to prove that that I belong in the world, right? And you see the contrast here with, like, both, there's an affinity and a contrast, right? She's so much like Coco in that way. Coco also has a deep need to prove that she's a worthy witch, right? That she can belong in this world of magic. For one thing, to save her mom, but also, you know, because she's so desperately in love with magic, right? She wants so badly to live out that part of her dream. So they have that thing exactly in common, but Agott is coming at it from a very different point of view, right? Coco had her love for magic given to her and encouraged even by her mother, right? Like, her mother, like, was kind of worried about Coco being a little bit too into all this witchcraft stuff, but who nonetheless nurtured her creativity and supported her emotionally and helped her, right? And helped her develop skills that eventually gave Coco the ability to become a witch, right? It is her mother's teaching and support that lets Coco discover her magic at all. And so one wonders, if they have all that in common, what's the difference between the two of them? What made the difference between their two outlooks on the world? And this is what I was talking about. Like, Agott shows up as an asshole, right? She is an asshole. Like, she starts the story out being an asshole to Coco, putting her directly in danger. And she is apart. And she is alienated from the others. And she has a superiority complex, which as it is in most cases, is actually an inferiority complex, right? And she is an asshole. Like, she's not a very nice person yet. And this is why. Someone put that need into her head, right? This is her overriding super objective. To prove that she's worthy of love, essentially. Of esteem, of that she has a right to exist, essentially. Which is a grim thing to be stuck with when you're 12. Like, that's a grim set of feelings to have to struggle with at that age. Especially when it's combined with the ability to do incredible things like Agott can do. And the consequences that come from doing things like that when you don't do them well. I like the way that Keyfree winds up here. He's essentially taking a golf swing. Woo! Birdie! If I could remember the sound effects from Wii Golf, I would I would put them here. What a bunch of gorgeous animation. Also worth noting the relationship that civilians have to magic here, right? The way that they respond to it, the way that they think of magic and what it is and what it can do. That'll come up as well. Perfect delivery on that line. Thanks for that water. I hate you too. So he's so mad. He hates the water so much. He's like, oh, fuck you. Fuck you for being there. Perfect delivery. Genuinely perfect delivery from the voice actor. Like, you can just hear it on him. Just how much he's like, fucking hell, I want to be literally anywhere else. Again, this thing we talked about last episode, tension and release. Here, Keyfree is about to give the river that last push back. And you can see build up, build up, build up, tension, tension, and then snap. To give it that drama. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah. Dad. Wait, what did you just say, Tetcha? Hang on. Wait a minute. 3, 2, 1, pause. What did you just say? Hurrah? Huh. Very Germanic indeed, yes. Skyen is smelling the Danish on her. She does pronounce it very, very Danish. Like, not, oh, the voice actor confirms she's Danish. Okay, she doesn't sound particularly Danish most of the time, I will say. Like, it's not a particularly Danish accent, but that pronunciation there. Hurrah! That is... It gets better as the episodes go on. Oh, I'm excited for that. Then maybe we'll get Tetcha with a proper Danish accent. I wonder if she's gonna try and do a Copenhagen sort of accent, or if it's maybe more something like down from where I'm from, which is from the south of Fyn, where we drag out the vowels a lot. Or maybe it's more like a Copenhagen, which is more like staccato. There's like short vowels and like a little bit more rough in it. God, if she's gonna try and go for a Jutlandish accent, that'll be funny. I don't know that she's necessarily gonna do that, but okay, a Danish, actual proper Danish accent would be very interesting. The VA said it's subtle Danish because it's hard to do with the voice she's doing. Yeah, that's the other thing. Danish is not really... Our language doesn't really allow for that very, very high-pitched anime squealing in that way. Like, our language is just not really set up for it. You can't really do kawaii talk in Danish in that way. Like, Danish voice actors won't try it either when they do dubs of anime and things like that. Like, they don't really do those super high-pitched kawaii voices. How do you do baby talk? Well, baby talk is do. Like, baby talk tends to actually go low. Danish doesn't really have that kind of cutesy. Yeah, it like... I would say, actually, that Tetcha, I read her accent more as Dutch the whole time. Like, it sort of feels a little bit more in that area, because Dutch has that higher register in a way that Danish just kind of doesn't. How does exciting sound like? No, it's not that we can't do high pitch, right? It's that we can't do super duper high pitched anime voice, like we just don't have that cutesy, lilting, very, very high pitched anime voice thing. It doesn't really exist in our social act in the same way. Is it because it has less vowels? No, quite the opposite. Danish has more vowels than any other language on Earth. Is the problem. That's why Danish is exceptionally difficult to learn, is because we have, like, what is it, 27 unique vowel sounds, I think, in our register, along with a specific kind of glottal stop that's called stød, which means pressure. And let me give you a demonstration of stød, right? So there's a word that means miller, as in a person who runs a windmill, right? Møller. Then there is a name, which is based on the profession of being a person who runs a mill, which is pronounced differently. Møller. Møller, Møller. Those are two different words. The difference between saying she and saying dog er hun. That's she. Hun. That's dog. Hun, hun. And I'm exaggerating it. I'm exaggerating it a lot. So Danish has, and the difference between those two is when you say dog, you say hun. When you say she, you say hun. You let the vowel roll, right? Hun, you make it longer. When you say dog, you have a glottal stop. That's stød, hun. right? And I am exaggerating the fuck out of it. You can't tell in casual conversation unless you are Danish what the difference is between these two things. You cannot. And that's the problem with Danish. That's why Danish is incredibly difficult to learn. Oh, didn't mean to play there. It's because it has this very specific, and like, if you're not Danish and you listen to Danish people talk, what you get is, it sounds like, right? It sounds like an unbroken string of muddy vowels that just kind of right? Because so much of the Danish language is vowels. And another thing Danish does, by the way, is we tend to soften consonants, right? So a double T is pronounced as a double D, basically. A double K is pronounced as a double G, right? And we do have sharp vowels here and there, but so many of our words, when you see them spelled out, you're like, oh, okay, you think it's supposed to be pronounced with a sharp vowel, or a sharp consonant, and it's actually a very soft consonant. And single consonants just tend to vanish. So many of our single consonants don't exist, right? N-E-D-E, right? Which in English you'd say nede, right? But in a D like that in Danish is v. So det er nede. It's not nede, it's nede. And v, that's the D sound. V. That is D. V. So Danish is a motherfucker of a language to learn. Quite exciting that she's actually trying for a Danish accent. I don't think she gets there a lot, because Danish just isn't super well suited for the kind of character that Tetcha is in that way, in that anime high voice register. But she said hurrah correctly. Okay, let's see. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, leave Agott with Coco. That'll work out well for everyone. They definitely won't get each other into trouble. Oh, children. Oh, hey, another kid who was extremely eager to be useful. Yeah, that's the right reason to do it. That's trauma. Three, two, one, pause. Like I said, we're about to learn some things about Agott. Not the reaction you want a witch to have when someone's begging her to save their son. That's not good, right? That's not the reaction you want to have, because that's other people's misery are my opportunity, right? I have a chance to bend the rules and get away with it and advance myself, right? And her reaction to that is joy, happiness. Not good. It is not good when that's her reaction to people needing help. Again, going back to what Olrugia was trying to teach her. What is magic for? And for Agott, right now, it's for this. This is what it's for. This is why we're doing it. This is why we're practicing it. This is why we care about it. And why is she that way? Well, because when her mind is quiet, this is what she hears. All the time. This is what she hears. Over and over and over again. Every time the spell isn't good enough, every time the light wavers a little bit, every time the seal isn't perfect, every time her plan doesn't work, this is what she hears. These are the only voices, right? Every time something goes wrong, this is where she goes back to. And this is where we get the comparison with Coco again, right? Coco's mom nurtured her, supported her, helped her, encouraged her dreams, taught her skills, loved her, cared for her. Doesn't matter that Coco had this, like, she never blamed Coco for having her obsession with magic. She never degraded Coco for spending her time on something that was useless, air quotes. Coco's mom supported her the whole way and instilled her with love and creativity the whole way. That's why Coco is the way that she is. Because she had a mother who loved her so much, more than anything, and who accepted her and made a space for her, right? With all of her interests and her wants. Agott didn't. Agott had a mother who would not love her unless she could prove that she deserved it, right? Unless she could prove that she could live up to a certain standard. So when Coco comes to the atelier, ignorant, a novice who doesn't know anything, who hasn't achieved anything, who hasn't worked hard to do anything, who kind of just failed her way into this apprenticeship by fucking up real bad and fucking up her family, and yet everyone is still supportive of her. Everyone's still kind to her, even though she's a fuck-up who's done nothing but make mistakes all the time. Yeah, that's kind of hard for Agott to accept, isn't it? That this airheaded little idiot gets to be wrong and fuck up and make mistakes, and she just gets to fail upwards. And everyone still likes her, and everyone still cares for her. Where does she get off thinking that's okay? That's why Agott is an asshole to Coco, especially early on in the story. That's why. Because from Agott's perspective, Coco is being handed everything Agott has ever wanted on a silver plate, and she's never had to work hard to prove her worth or that she deserves to be somewhere. From Agott's perspective. Coco's perspective is that, yes, she does, actually. Coco has her own traumas. But from Agott's perspective, right? Imagine how galling, how infuriating, how painful it must be to see someone like Coco turn up like that. How much it must hurt. And she's 12. She's like 12. How would you have handled that when you were 12? I would have handled it worse. Like, I think I would have been a much bigger asshole than Agott is. That's why she is the way that she is. That's why she's so ambitious, right? Agott doesn't realize she also has access to that same level of support as she's also Kiefer's student. Yes, because Agott doesn't believe that she deserves it. Like, Agott doesn't see that love is being given to her freely. She sees that it's being given freely to other people, and she's like, well, that's stupid. You're not supposed to get it freely. You're supposed to work and earn it and be useful. You have to be useful in order to earn love. So it's stupid that other people get love freely. And that's not how it's supposed to be. And she kind of has to believe that, right? Because if she can earn love, if she can just work hard enough, right? If she can just be brilliant enough, if she can just do enough to make herself good enough, then she can make her mother love her again. Then she can make her mother care about her. She can make her family want her again, right? If I can just control things, I can find a way to make it happen. I can make... And the horror, right? Like, the painful thing that you have to learn as you're growing up is you can't... A parent who treats you like that, you can't make them love you because they don't. Right? It's not... There's nothing in you... There's no insufficiency in you. There's no lack that you have. There's no ability that you're missing. There's no strength. There's nothing. It's not you. There's nothing in you that made them not love you. It's not your fault, and it can't be. You can't make people love you. And if someone demands performance from you in exchange for any kind of validation and love, then they don't love you. They just love what you can do for them. And it will never make you whole. Never. And that's painful. That hurts. It hurts so bad. And no one handles it well. Adults don't handle it well. Children certainly don't. And that's why Agott is about to make some decisions. And that's why she has that reaction, right? Like, that's why she reacts to someone else's misery with excitement. Oh, that man's child is in danger. Good. That's an opportunity for me. And if that kind of development isn't curbed, if something doesn't interrupt that kind of development, that's the kind of adult that she would end up being as well. If something doesn't interrupt that path for her. That's the kind of adult that she would end up being, right? Would it be a good thing if an adult had the powers of magic and that attitude towards other people? Probably not. Anyway, let's see what happens next. As fortunately, there is something there slightly interrupting Agott's pattern. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, hey, light. Please pick up on it, Coco. Tell yourself that, Agott. Three, two, one, pause. Boy, we watched that for a long time without me interrupting myself, huh? It's a very good sequence. And again, something I do appreciate is the conflicts that are happening here, right? Just like what it was with the dragon. The problem with the dragon was never, we have to find a way to beat the dragon, right? In fact, that's explicitly the idea that Coco kind of shoots down by saying, yeah, but your fire seal didn't actually hurt it. That, like, hurting the dragon doesn't seem to solve the problem, really. The problem is never about, we have to overpower this, we have to fight this, we have to charge our strongest Kamehameha and blast it to pieces. That's never the problem, right? The problem is never a problem of, can you marshal enough power? The problem is, can you think your way around this problem creatively, right? I wonder what would happen if you use the Rockbreaker seal on a person. And that, Nautilum, is a big part of the reason why they don't let most people cast spells. But the problem is not one of power, right? The problem is not one of strength. The problem is one of, can I think of what tools do I have, and can I find a way to use them to create a solution to help someone, right? And that's the interesting part of how Agott has to act here, right? She can't save him. She's up there on the riverbank. She can't go down there and save him. What can she do? All she can do to make this work is to help Coco, right? That's all she has, and that's a lesson that she has to learn, is this is not a scene that's about you proving yourself. This is a scene about you have to create a distraction so your friend can do the work, right? And it's a good lesson for her to learn. And it's good character development for her as well, right? Like, it's never about who's the best spellcaster. It's never about who's the strongest, who's the fastest, who's the most skilled. It's about, how can we solve the problem together? And I like that about the conflict resolution here. Hey, by the way, isn't it funny that, like, Coco said that she drew a seal and broke the rock, but we don't get to see the rock being broken? Or anything like that? That's weird. I wonder why. Can't imagine. That's probably they just don't have time. They don't have time. It's probably just, it's not important anyway. They saved Kustas. Who cares? Who cares how the rock was broken? Don't worry about it. 3, 2, 1, go. Uh-oh. Yeah. Say hello to the Knights Morales. Friendly fellas, aren't they? There's a saying that goes something like, all cops are nice people who are friendly and reasonable. I think that's how it goes, right? Yeah. Yeah. All cops are best friends with children. That's what it is. That's how it goes. ACAB, yeah. Yeah, no. Well, say hello to the magic cops, everyone. Say hello to the voice of authority. As we talked about, their character designs are quite good, right? Because mostly the witch uniforms, right, are these big, soft, sort of very pleasant, friendly robes, right? Like with this nice blue color or other colors, but it's like big, soft, enveloping, like sort of theatrical but pleasant robes, right? They look nice. They look kind of, they look soft, right? Like they look pleasant. The Knights Morales and the way that their uniform is put together is very, very different, right? Like, it's still lots of layers of fabric and things like that, but look how sharp everything about them is, relative to, like, Keyfree's robes, for example. Look how sharp everything is. Look at how, like, every witch has a pointed hat, but, like, you have these sharp diamond shapes, the sharp wings, you have all the metal, right? That's attached over, almost sort of like the epaulettes on like a military uniform. So there's this slight militant aspect to them, right? They don't wear robes, they wear a uniform, right? And they have these capture pennant wand things, right? Like, which has this, again, like the flags carried by a conquering army kind of vibes. Like, there's a real edge to them that doesn't exist in the classic witch uniforms, right? There's metal, there's sharpness, and it's harsh, right? It's good character design. It's a really good way to design characters that, like, okay, yeah, witches, they have the pointed hat, they have the many layers, and they have the robes and things like that, but then also on top of that, there's this other aspect to it. And this is, again, where we come back to this question of authority, right? The Pact has this set of rules that are absolute, and we have learned that there are good reasons for them, right? As we saw with Coco and her mom, there are good reasons that you can't just let anyone cast any spell they want unrestricted for any purpose, because as Keyfree told us, it ends with war. When people have the ability to do anything, anything is what they'll do, right? Lots of people do the nice things, but there will always be people who have the thought, hey, what if I cast a Rockbreaker seal on a person? Someone's always going to have that thought, and someone's going to do it, right? That is the moral justification for the Pact, right? Is that this magic is too dangerous. It has to be controlled, right? So far, so good. That leads us to the next question. Who has the authority to control it? Who has the right to determine which magic is legitimate and which is not, what magic is forbidden and what is not, and who gets to cast those spells? Who gets to determine who's an insider and an outsider? And that's another one of those major questions with Coco, right? Coco is an outsider who was allowed to become as a witch briefly, so far, because someone was willing to bend the rules for her. And that's unambiguously, we've seen, a good thing. Coco is the kind of person who should have magic. Coco is the kind of beautiful little sunshine, little rainbow ray of sunshine, who should have magic. She's the kind of person that you want to have magic, right? But she's an outsider, and who gets to determine that? Who has the authority to determine who gets access to power? Who has the authority, right? Who has the right to do that? Why do these people have the right to determine that? Why do they have the right to say that Coco shouldn't have magic? Why does anyone? Who can you trust to hold that power? And that's one of the big questions that the story is about, right? We have seen that there's a good argument that you can't just let anyone cast magic willy-nilly. There's a good argument for that. It is far too dangerous. It's like for the same reason that not everyone can be allowed to have a nuclear weapon in their basement, right? It's like, yeah, sure. It's like, theoretically, just because you have it doesn't mean you're going to do anything bad with it, but if someone does, if someone crosses the line, when someone crosses the line, what happens, right? It's terrifying. But who gets to say what is and is not allowed? Who gets to say who is and is not a legitimate spellcaster? And where do they derive their authority and their right to make those determinations from, right? The Knights Morales is an embodiment of that particular problem in this fiction, right? And it's not a question that has an easy answer, just as it doesn't have an easy answer in the real world, right? Like, in the real world, the answer is whoever has the power to take authority gets to have it, right? Like, that's the concept of a nation state. There's that Brennan Lee Mulligan quote, right? Laws are threats made by the dominant socioeconomic order, right? Like, that's enforced with the threat of violence. That's what a state is. A state is a power structure that enforces its rules with the threat of violence. And they are legitimized by their monopoly on violence, right? Like, that the state is the thing that holds a monopoly on violence in society. What we get in return is that when we live in a state, in theory, that means that no one else gets to do violence to us. If another country comes along and tries to do violence against us to take our shit, well, our country has an army that can push back against that with violence. If someone comes along with a knife and tries to kill you, well, theoretically, the cops will come along and do violence to the person who's trying to kill you in order to preserve your life, right? So, in theory, the state's monopoly on violence is part of a social contract that allows us all to live peacefully. And, like, but there is always that question of, like, who gets to determine what is legitimate violence? Who gets to determine what is a legitimate power structure? The Native Americans in the United States didn't get a whole hell of a lot of a say in the formation of the United States. Is that should they consider the nation a legitimate state just because it has the biggest army in the world? Just because they have power? Those are some of the questions, and there aren't easy answers to any of this, mind you. Like, plenty of ideological directions that will form an answer, that have a theory of power, and a theory of how should power be distributed, and, like, how do we balance power with the needs of like, liberalism has answers to this, fascism has answers to this, socialism has answers to this, anarchism has answers to this, but it's not a settled question that just has an obvious, easy answer that you can just kind of adopt, and then you have the correct answer forever. Anyone who tries to sell you on that, the idea that they have the right answer and you don't have to think about any other possible answers, you should be wary of that kind of person. And they exist everywhere. Like, that's fascists will insist that they have the right answer, and then they will try to force that answer on you with violence and force, because that's what fascism is. But you get anarchists and socialists as well who are very like, no, I have the answer and there aren't any other legitimate answers, and if you think there's another answer, you're a stupid moron. This is a settled question and we don't need to think about it anymore. And I don't fuck with that very much, because it's not that easy. Every plan is great until it comes into contact with reality, right? Like, every ideology is perfect until it comes into conflict with material conditions. It is not a settled question. And Witch Hat Atelier is about that. It's about trying to interrogate and deal with those questions, among other things. Also, fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck all of that. Fuck you. Fuck no. Fuck off. No. Oh, God, what a horrible spell. That's the other thing, right? Like, there is, within the pact of the witches, there is that fundamental hypocrisy, right? Oh, yeah, spells, you're not allowed to cast spells on human beings, right? You're not allowed to cast a spell that affects someone's body. Except the one that we need in order to secure our power structure. Except the one that we need in order to make everyone else forget about magic. Except the one that we need to make our order into a hegemon, right? No one else gets to use any of this, but we get to use the one. We have, like, we're an exception. Like, exceptions are made for us in protecting the structure of power that we have established. It's a deep hypocrisy, and again, something that the story kind of has to engage with. Because, like, I do not disagree with the Pact Witches that no one in the world should cast that kind of magic on someone else, and I think that no one in the world should fucking include the cops, maybe, but, you know, that's just me. Anyway, Witch Hat Atelier is a political story. Inherently, it is a deeply political story. That's not the only thing it's about. It's about many other things as well. But it is a deeply political story, and there's no way around it. And this is true of all of the art that you like, and all of the art that you will ever enjoy. All of it. Yes, including the one that you're thinking of right now. Yes, including that one too. All of it. Dr. Seuss books, yep. Tetris, yep. All of it. It sucks. I don't think that's fun, necessarily. I would also like to just be able to be entertained and turn my brain off without having to think about this stuff. Unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. Everything is political. All art is political. That doesn't mean you have to adopt any particular certain worldview or think any one specific way. But you do, if you don't want to be anti-intellectual, if you don't want people to be able to make you stupid, you do have to know and remember that about everything. Is that there's politics in all of it. Even the cute little witch show about the witch with the pointy hat who's good at making friends and who just wants to draw a pretty spell to save her mom. All of it. It's all political. There's no way out of it. We're stuck here together. And the only way to deal with it is to learn how to engage with it. Again, if someone tries to sell you that there is one easy answer to anything, that there's one correct answer, and if you just adopt that answer, then you will be right forever, it doesn't matter what the subject is. They are wrong, and they are trying to sell you something. They're trying to get something out of you. Witch Hat Atelier is about more than one thing. It's about many things, including politics. And there's no one way to interpret it. There just isn't. There are some interpretations that are more credible than others because they are more grounded in the actual evidence of the text, but there's no such thing as a correct interpretation of art. Again, I've got a bunch of thoughts racing around my head that I'm trying to formulate. In media, and in engagement with media, the shape of anti-intellectualism is often the idea that the most obvious explanation is the correct one. Right? That whichever explanation is the most obvious on a surface level, whichever explanation requires the least consideration, requires the least argument, the least interpretation, whichever one is most obvious and easiest is the correct one, right? And that is anti-intellectualism. And that is a point of view which is very useful to people who benefit from you not thinking more deeply about the things you love. That doesn't mean that an obvious explanation is wrong, right? An obvious interpretation is not necessarily wrong. It's not necessarily stupid. If you find an obvious interpretation and you believe in it, that doesn't make you a moron. The job of someone who has the ability to engage intellectually is to observe the obvious explanation and then stay open to the idea that there can be more, right? There can be more different ones. There can be different perspectives. There can be different ways of seeing that allow for different interpretations, and that there isn't the correct one. For anything, basically. There isn't the correct interpretation for pretty much anything. They are all positions that require your intellectual engagement to understand and defend, right? If you want to have an interpretive stance on something, you have to be capable of speaking as to why. You don't have to defend yourself from the charge of being wrong, but you have to be capable of articulating why you believe something. That's the job of engaging with media, is to find out what you believe about it and then find out why. Your job isn't to be right. Your job is to understand why you feel the way that you do. Right? The job, again, that's again, the very anti-intellectual position is this idea that you have to be right about it, right? You have to find the correct answer, and then that's the right answer. That's the answer that you have to find. The job is to find the correct answer. It's not. The job is to figure out how you feel and why you feel that way. And that's much more difficult. Anti-intellectualism is easy because it just asks you to find an answer and then just dogmatically stick to it. Interpretation intellectualism is hard because it asks you to find out why do you believe the things that you believe, and can you articulate that to yourself. You don't even have to be able to articulate it to other people. That's not really the litmus test. The litmus test is, can you articulate it to yourself? That's the main thing. Anyway, I went off on a whole tangent there. Good lord. Probably gonna happen again over the course of this anime more than a few times. I really do want to get it across to people who watch my content is people sometimes accuse me of having good media literacy, right? They sometimes, oh, you're so good at interpreting and finding out the right thing. And it's like, I appreciate that, but I'm not, because there is no right answer. There isn't, like, I don't have a better take than anyone else because I'm smarter, or because I know more, or because I'm a better class of person, or whatever. What I'm good at is finding out how I feel and why I feel that way and articulating it. But that's not the same as being right. And I am not smarter than you. You can do this too. It's a skill. It's something you practice by doing it. It's not, I wasn't born with a smart media brain or whatever. My takes are not good or bad. They are just, I just know what I feel. And that's hard, and I think I'm pretty good at knowing how I feel at this point and articulating it. But I'm not special. There's nothing magic about this. This is a skill. This is craft. And you can do it too. And I see so many people who feel so unsure and afraid of what they feel about the stuff that they love. Who are so unsure and afraid of articulating why they love the things that they do, why they like them, why they enjoy them, right? Especially when they encounter someone like me, who seems so sure of themselves, right? And I emphasize on seems. And I say, this is how I feel, this is why I feel that way. And when they feel differently, they go, oh, fuck, am I wrong? Is this, should I not feel this way? And that's like, no. When you hear me say something and you disagree with it, and that's not how you feel about the thing, take that as a thing to go, okay, you can reconsider how you feel, but you're not supposed to adopt my position. Take what I say, the things that I express, and turn them over in your head and go, no, that thing is wrong. I don't agree with that. Why don't I agree with that? And once you figure out why you don't agree with the thing that I said, that's when you'll get a better understanding of yourself, right? Just because I speak confidently, and just because I know some fancy words, that doesn't mean I'm right about anything. The words are just tools I use to express what is in me. And again, that's not the same as saying that every reading of a story is equally valid, right? Like, some readings are quite bad because they are not grounded in what the text itself is actually saying. But that doesn't mean that someone is wrong or stupid for having it. It's just some things can be more persuasively argued from the evidence of the text than others. But it's just tools. It's just, yeah. It's a difficult thing. Anyway, media literacy is a skill. It is something that you practice. It is not something you're born with. It's not an inherent smartness. It's not an inherent... You practice it. And in my case, I practice it by doing this. I sit down, and now I have to talk about the thing that I'm watching for an hour, and I have to articulate how I feel. That's what the reaction is. And I have to talk about it, and I have to talk myself through it. And so this helps me practice my media literacy. This helps me practice my analysis skills. Writing can be very helpful for doing it. If you wanna figure out how a story is written, write your own fanfic of it. right? And sit down and plot that shit out. That can also help. But the fundamental thing about media literacy, the fundamental thing is, well, Manager got there ahead of me, ask questions, right? When, let's see if you can find a good shot of the two of them. Coco and Agott, right? I've talked so much about Coco is the sun, Agott is the moon, like it's light and dark, it's all of that, right? The question you can ask is, okay, what if the opposite decision was made? What if Coco was dark? What if she had the dark hair? What if she was more associated with darkness? What would that change about the story, right? I find that that's often a very useful way to start thinking about why is the story the way that it is? Well, what if it was the opposite? What if every choice that was made in the story was the opposite way around? What if they made a different choice with each thing, right? What if Coco looked different? What if Agott was very cheerful and had Tetya's personality, but still had the same backstory? What would that change? Why did they choose to present her the way that they did? That's the basis of it. It's that curiosity, it's questioning, right? It's, they did it this way. What if they did it a different way? What would that change? Why would that be different? Why might that be wrong, right? Why are the lightsabers in Star Wars blue for the good guys and red for the bad guys? What if they were red for the good guys and blue for the bad guys? What would that change? Why wouldn't that work? What is it about the color red that works better for the Sith? Well, it's because it's passion and it's anger and it's okay. It's like you start thinking there, right? And why is blue better for the good guys? Well, blue is gentle. It's the color of the sky. It's the color of the Virgin Mary. It's, what do I associate blue with? Well, water and like some things that are sort of soft and gentle and bright and sunny days and so you start to think about it, right? You start to think about, what do these colors mean? Why does it mean something? Children's Hospital color theory, right? There's nothing wrong with having a cheerful red line running down the floor, but in a children's hospital, oh, wait, no, that's the wrong color for this context. Why? Because blood, because death, because horror movies, right? It's curiosity is the core of it. Ask questions. Why is it this way instead of that way, right? And you're not supposed to reach an answer to those questions necessarily. You're not supposed to have a brilliant dissection of the thing. It's just, it's a place to start thinking from. Anyway, I've gone off tangent long enough. I'm going to stop this recording now.